Hi, I'm Carrie Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and I'm here with Robin Hannigan with Taggart and Associates. And this is a fun one. What to do if you disagree with your appraisal. So, what should they do if they disagree?
The first thing I would recommend is when the appraiser is out there, give them a list of upgrades and dates. And also, if you have knowledge of any close by sales that were would have been skewed for some reason, something with a pet odor or a FSBO for sale by owner, or a home that was a distressed sale for some reason, let the appraiser know up front. If you do get an appraisal back and you don't think that it is accurate, first off, address anything that is incorrect.
Just because you disagree doesn't mean that it's actually inaccurate.
Yeah.
You've got to give foundation for the reason why you disagree.
And then looking at the comparable sales that are used, if you know something about those sales that the appraiser may not have been privy to, that can affect the appraisal. Again, things like a pet odor or something, the foundation issue. Those things don't have to be disclosed. Okay, those things are not advertised.
Yeah. You don't pay us to advertise that your foundation needs to be completely braced or dug up, or and our pictures don't show that. Our pictures are only for marketing purposes. So they would not have access to that information without calling us first. And imagine how many appraisals they do in a day. So typically I'd say it's probably glaringly obvious that they know that there's a differentiation between one price to the other that prompts them to call. But from our side, that's not what we market. So they see what we market. Pretty
Correct.
Accurate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know that you guys have called me before and said, okay, well, why did this one sell at this price? What am I missing?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be like, okay, well, this is what you were missing because it needed, $10,000 worth of foundation work. And that's the reason why the price was adjusted.
But if you, for some reason, have several homes in the area that all have issues, it may not stand out that there was an issue. It may appear that that's the market in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that can help. Make a list of the issues and go back to the client. Often the client is the lender, and that's fairly important. One thing that's unique with VA loans is if it's a sale, the appraiser has to notify, it's called the Tidewater Act. The appraiser has to notify the client or the contact person if the property is not going to appraise for the sale price. And then we have to wait until we get additional information before we can finish the appraisal.
So I know when it comes to for sale by owners, if you know in your neighborhood, because I had one recently that 2 homes in the neighborhood sold for historically way more than they had ever sold for ever. And I do mean ever, by about $50,000. So that's a huge, huge jump. So whenever it comes to trying to compare properties, obviously those numbers don't match up because we're not always privy to what the for sale by owner status is. It really skews our numbers, by the way. But in this particular instance, my seller knew everybody in the neighborhood and knew the facts. So she was able to provide that data, leave it in the home, so that when it came time to appraise, they were able to go out, find those properties, call those owners, and figure out what they sold for and what the conditions were. So if you have any of that information, it's always good to know, because we don't always know for sale by owners and what they truly sold for.
Correct.
So, and it helps us whenever we're pricing a property to sell, much less when it comes time to appraise. Any other suggestions?
Stick to the facts. That's the most important thing. If you can't find anything wrong with the report, other than you think the value's wrong, there's a good chance that the value is probably correct.
Yeah. So emotional attachment doesn't have a value, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because a house is a house. Just because you love it doesn't make it worth more. We do run into that when we're pricing properties. There's an emotional attachment. And you know what? It's your house. Of course you should be emotional about it, but that doesn't mean that when it comes square foot to square foot and everything isn't lined with what's in the neighborhood and in those comparable homes, that your house is going to be worth more. So,
well, and you may have loved that wallpaper when you put it up in every room, but today's buyers don't love that wallpaper. Mm-hmm. And there's a good chance they've stripped it, and they know that they really don't love that paper. So those are the kinds of things also that go into.
Yeah, and if you've got Elvis era of shag and all different colors in your house, let's talk about a carpet allowance. Things like that, or go ahead and replace the carpet. So there are a lot of things that go into that. So always, whenever we go through, we try and make recommendations. Wallpaper is one of those things that nobody wants to take down, but it really does help in the sale if you go ahead and take care of it. So there are a lot of different tips to help you, and we would love to help get you ready for it. So if you'd like to give us a call, our number is 785-213-5188. And Robin, how did they get a hold of you?
Taggart and Associates, 785-273-2334.